make a difference, have a moral compass. We have to be able to be willing to speak out against tyranny. For fuck's sakes, when the hell would we have ever let somebody like Hillary Clinton run for president? The bitch of Benghazi. And she got away with it. She has blood on her hands of our fellow warfighters. I don't know how anybody colors that any different, because to me that's treason. And that bitch is running for president. That's how far our society has fallen.
You ask me why I love her? Well, give me time. I'll explain. Have you seen a Kansas sunset or an Arizona rain? Have you drifted on a bayou down Louisiana way? Have you watched the cold fog drifting over San Francisco Bay? Have you heard a Bob White calling in the Carolina Pines? Or heard the bellow of a diesel at the Appalachia Mines? Does the call of the Niagara thrill you when you hear her waters roar? You look with awe and wonder at her Massachusetts shore, where men who braved a hard new world first stepped on Plymouth's rock. Do you think of them when you stroll along a New York City dock? Have you seen a snowflake drifting in the Rockies way up high? Have you seen the sun come blazing down from a bright Nevada sky? You hail to the Columbia as you rush into the sea, or how you're headed Gettysburg, our struggle to be free? Have you seen the mighty Tetons who watched an eagle soar? Have you seen the Mississippi roll along Missouri's shore? Have you felt a chill at Michigan when on a winter's day her waters rage along the shore in thunderous display? Does the word aloha make you warm? Do you stare in disbelief when you see the surf come roaring in at Waimea Reef? From Alaska's cold to the Everglades, from the Rio Grande to Maine, my heart cries out, my pulse runs fast, the might of her domain. You ask me why I love her? I've a million reasons why. My beautiful America, beneath God's wide, wide sky.
You know that something is horribly wrong in this country and all over the world. And if you're paying any attention at all, you know it's getting worse. The privacy and freedoms you once took for granted have been taken from you without your permission. And in return, you've been given the false promise of safety. But safety from what? And from whom? The only real threat is coming from the people in power. Those who pretend that they're protecting you. More and more frequently, peaceful citizens are being beaten, tasered, and shot by police for the most trivial of offenses. And we stand by and watch. Soon enough it's forgotten about, and rarely is there any kind of punishment or retribution of any kind against the uniformed attackers. Some are even hailed as heroes for attacking these innocents. So it happens again and again, until it becomes normal for you to fear going a couple miles over the speed limit for fear of being brutalized. Why should this surprise you? This is nothing new. As has happened over and over again throughout history, our society is becoming desensitized to being oppressed. And that means a terrifying future for our children and their children. It's not okay to see injustice and let it go. But people do it every day because they think it doesn't affect them. It does. Like a schoolyard bully who is allowed to terrorize and assault the other children, if that behavior is not addressed and immediately corrected, it will continue. So how do we correct it? First, we speak out when we see injustice happening. Call attention to it. Once the first person speaks up, others tend to follow suit. Be that first person. Make it clear that you will use whatever means necessary to protect the innocent. It's okay to push back. It's okay to be angry, and it's okay to be aggressive in defending not only your own rights, but the rights of others. Don't fool yourself into thinking that keeping quiet and doing as you're told, passively allowing the rights of others, the livelihoods of others, and the future of humanity to be destroyed in this way will keep trouble from landing on your doorstep. And it isn't much better to sit on the sidelines crying for change instead of taking it upon yourself to make that change happen. People have to pick their battles. The goal here is not martyrdom. But if you will never resist, if you are never willing to forcibly defend yourself or your fellow man, if you will never draw a line and say, "This I will not allow," then you have already lost. You are already a defeated and conquered slave. Look at the societies where everyone minded his own business, tried not to make waves, and didn't resist. How did that turn out for them? This country is headed down the same destructive path. If that's okay with you, then just remain silent. Just go with the flow and do as you're told. If that's not okay with you, then disobey and resist. If someone was threatening the safety of your own child or someone else dear to you, wouldn't you aggressively defend them? Some say you gotta look out for number one, and that's true to a point. However, it has been the courage of the selfless, those willing to put themselves in harm's way to defend others, who have pushed humanity forward. The world has already had enough examples of quiet cowards, passively looking on as their fellow human beings were oppressed, tortured, brutalized, and murdered. The defenseless need to be defended. Mothers who endure the pain and sacrifice of bringing a child into the world and putting the child's happiness and survival above their own is the only reason the human race exists. If you're one of those who intend to make a difference in the world, if you consider yourself an activist, then it's your job to act as the mother of humanity. So protect your children against predators by any means necessary. A mother bear doesn't ask a predator not to eat her baby. She stops it from doing so using defensive force. Often the mere threat of force is enough to stop an attacker in his tracks. To understand this is vital. This means it is possible to lead a non-violent resistance, simply by letting it be known that we will not stand by and let another person be harmed. In the wild, the predators pick out the weak of the herd because it's safe. The human predators treat the human herd the same way, targeting one person at a time as the rest of the flock stands idly by watching. It's high time the good people stopped allowing the weak and helpless to be picked off one at a time by parasites and predators, including the parasites and predators who wear badges and uniforms. If tomorrow you are the target of the power-happy thugs of the world, you will want more than anything for others to stand up with you, to protect you and defend you. But tomorrow you will not deserve to have anyone stand up for you if you do not stand up now for those whom the predators are victimizing today. It's time we dig our heels in and let it be known that we will not be beaten down. We will not stand by and watch. We will resist, and we will not give up.
Holy hell! You know, there's no way I could state that any better. I absolutely love the way that she vocalized that. To me, I can't, I hate the word can't. For me, I'm not able to articulate like that. Now, I have a different mindset. I say the same damn thing, but it's a different mindset. It's grow some fucking balls. Do what's right. Stop being a bitch. Stop dividing the people over selfishness and start uniting people through selflessness. There is nothing greater, nothing greater than being able to live your life freely without having to feel a fucking boot on your throat, without having to feel like you have to be afraid to walk out your door. When did we become a nation where this is acceptable? When did we become a nation of cowards? It doesn't make sense to me. It does not make sense that we have to sit here and do nothing. It doesn't make sense to watch somebody else get victimized and you do nothing. It's amazing how even when people put a call out for help, people don't show the fuck up. But it's those few that do that makes all the difference. But it's amazing how quickly people will give up. Well, I was holding a protest and 4 people showed up, so fuck this, fuck you, not doing it anymore. What? Alright, well, you quit. You gave up. Why? Because a fucking 1,000 people didn't show up the very first fucking time you decided to hold a protest? No. When you decide to make a difference, you might even be standing alone. But eventually, you will find somebody else willing to stand with you. And slowly, you will find others. But you can't give up. You can't give in, fall to your fucking knees and be like, yep, I'm done. Had it. Yeah, it's far easier to live on your knees and fall into this whole bullshit mentality with society. But that's not living. That's not a life. That's simply existing. And I don't know about you, but I'm not okay with just simply existing. I'm not okay with simply being a number and told what to do. That's not a life. That's not experiencing life. It's not living free. I just don't get when simply existing became okay. When did that become the norm? You have people out there that'll tell you what you have to do is you have to work a full-time job, 40 plus hours each week. You must pay your bills, and you must own a home, and you must own a vehicle. Then you need to have 1 to 2 children, and you need to raise them to do the same fucking thing. That is called having a life. And that's what you're supposed to do. Don't ever cause any waves, and keep your mouth fucking shut. If you see something wrong, you dial 911, and then you move the fuck on. That's not a life. It literally breaks my heart when I listen to some of the elderly discuss how they worked 50 to 60, 70, 80 hours a week all their life. Now they're in a rest home living out the rest of their days. And they're full of regrets. Things they wish they would have done. Things they wish they would have done differently. And that is so gut-wrenching, heartbreaking to think at the end of their path,